Oh, hey, hello. We're talking preseason football again. Friday games, 3 of them. Then we got Saturday, 8 games. Sunday, we got a couple there. They'll be in the premium Discord over on the Odd Shopper Marketplace. We'll talk about that later. But we got 3 to talk about for Friday. Keep in mind, I'm recording this Thursday afternoon. You guys already know I do it a day early to make sure to get it out in a timely fashion. So any news you're looking for, hit me up on Twitter at Loughy_D. And let's get into it. I'll spare you the pleasantries here, and we'll kick it off with the Jags on the road against the Falcons. They're 7-point favorites here. Big-time favorites on the money line, obviously. 35.5-point total. I would have loved this spot, man. I would have loved this spot for Jacksonville if they didn't sign E.J. Perry. I mentioned when I threw a play in the Discord earlier in the week, I was like, look, they may sign a quarterback. We don't know. But right now, it's just Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones because C.J. Beathard's already been ruled out. And hey, Mac Jones has played really well this preseason, like a true revelation, this guy. Who knows how long it lasts, but you've had a legitimate quarterback battle between Beathard and Mac Jones essentially all of camp, and now Beathard's out. So when I look at this game, I go, all right, well, last year in week 3, Lawrence played 3 minutes into the second quarter, finished with a touchdown drive. On their first drive, they fumbled at Miami's 2. So, I mean, they had 2 extensive continued drives that got them down into the end zone or to the 2. And then Beathard, who was the QB2 at the time, led 2 touchdown drives himself before being replaced by Nathan Rourke. Now, here's the thing. The Jags are only going to, and well, they did last year and they're expected to this year, carry only 2 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster. And like I said, there's been a battle in training camp between Jones and Beathard. So I don't really know why E.J. Perry, despite them signing him, would play unless it's either A, an emergency, or B, Doug Peterson just goes, you know what, I think I've seen enough out of Mac Jones. He's the QB2 or he's the QB3. And if Perry does play, I'd still expect to see plenty of Jones, who, I mean, he's been really impressive through the first 2 weeks of the preseason. And then what about Atlanta? You got no Kirk Cousins. We already knew he wasn't going to play all preseason. But then in a kind of shocking decision that baffled all of the Falcons fans out there, if you're one of them, you know what I'm talking about. You had Raheem Morris say that Michael Penix Jr. isn't going to play. And he didn't play last week either. So he got limited work in week 1, and that's it. They said they saw enough of him. So it's going to be Taylor Heineke and John Paddock. These guys have been atrocious. They've been atrocious in the preseason. There's no doubt about it. And how about this? Peterson's Jags. They've quietly won, because this is a guy that, like, in the preseason historically didn't really care all that much, particularly with Philly. Now, you look at the preseason, he's won 5 straight games by scores of 13, 13, 13, 18, and 5. I know it's a big number, but give me Jags -7 here on the game. And as always, I'm a big fan of these first quarter spreads. It's -2.5 for the Jags in the first quarter, but a 3-0 game, a field goal to 0 against these backups will get you there if you're looking to hit that as well. You got the 49ers and the Raiders. All right, so the Niners are 7-point favorites here, -305 on the money line, 34-point total. The only first quarter spread bet that we've lost this year was the Bears last week. Now, we bet the full game spread on that as well, and they handled that easily. That's the only first quarter spread bet we've lost from YouTube and from the plays in Discord over in the marketplace. That's it. And look, let's be honest. There's plenty of times where I go, man, I had a bad read on this. I didn't. I don't think I did. Caleb Williams played not only the first quarter, but the entire first half against Zach Taylor's Bengals backups. And we know he already doesn't care about the preseason. I mean, he's 3-11 straight up, but not just that, he doesn't care. And they were crushing Logan Woodside. We had every opportunity to win that. We didn't. Good thing we took the 6.5 in the game, but that's the only one we've lost this season. Either way, in my opinion, the biggest preseason edge we have is these first quarter spreads. Now, you really can't find them on most books. I'm surprised DraftKings is still offering them. Money lines, if you want to play it more conservatively in the first quarter. And you know, I mentioned the Discord a couple of times. Links down in the description and in chat if you guys ever wanted to join. All of my plays that you see here go into the Discord early before the line movement. A lot of plays that you're never going to see here on YouTube, like player props that you're going to get for football. Probably won't be doing player props on YouTube. Everything for basketball. If I'm not doing basketball videos here, at least not every single day. All of our parlays, our ladder plays, our lotto tickets. And of course, we're going to grind our way to a profit with a bunch of straight bets, maybe some smaller 2-leg parlays Would love to have you there. Certainly won't cost you an arm and a leg. Got a great community we're building. And hey, maybe you just want to join a community for the football season, win some money along the way, and help support your boy here. All of it goes a long way, and we're going to have a great time and win some money in the process. So you want to check it out, even if you're just looking around. Link in the description and in the chat. But one of the things I've talked about in there a lot is that like and the Sunday game, the Broncos first quarter half point spread is another example of that, is that there are two reasons that this bet looks really good and has been great to us this preseason. One, take this game, for example. Antonio Pierce already said he's not going to play a starter. He named Gardner Minshew as a starting quarterback. He's not going to play. And Shanahan is going to play them. They kind of treat this as a dress rehearsal. Plus, Brock Purdy should have a lot more weapons than he did last week. Like, he should get Debo back. He should get Kittle back. Purdy struggled last week, but think about this for a second. It was against the Saints' #1 defense, and he didn't really have anybody. He totally bereft of weapons offensively. Now, of course, like Trent Williams still won't be out there. Christian McCaffrey won't be out there. But the second reason I like these type of bets is because a lot of times what you see with these coaches is they trot their starters out there until they get a score. So it might only be one drive. They drive down the field, 12-play methodical series, and they score a touchdown. It's 7-0. Or you have a punt, and then maybe late in the first quarter, they score, and then that's it. It's not always the way it works, but we see a lot of coaches doing that, which is why you've seen a lot of these, or why you will see a lot of these 7-0 or 3-0 first quarters in the preseason games like this, where starters play for one team and they don't play for the other team. So that's the reason I like this here. 49ers minus half a point in the first quarter at plus 102 on DraftKings. So we're actually getting plus money here with Purdy, and I think Kittle and Debo expected to play. I've also not been opposed to sprinkling and small bets, especially if you're betting this team already, in a first quarter or a full game spread or something like that. 49ers to win the first quarter with a shutout. It's plus 165. You see so many of those 3-0, 7-0 type spots when you have starters and no starters. So I like that a little bit too. Third and final game, Dolphins at the Bucs. Tampa Bay 3-point favorites, minus 162 on the money line, 37.5 point total. We shouldn't see any starters, at least not any notable starters for the Dolphins on Friday. And Todd Bowles intends on getting his starters out there for Tampa. I don't think it'll be for too long though. Like they've seen no action through the first 2 weeks. Mayfield played 2 drives in week 3. Last year, Tom Brady played 1 drive in week 3 in 2022. And Mayfield did play in week 2 last year, but he hasn't seen anything this year. And I think the reason for that is, if you remember, him and Kyle Trask were technically in a quarterback competition. So I wouldn't expect to see the same amount of opportunities this year in week 3. And we already haven't seen anything through the first 2 weeks. I think it's safe to assume that we're going to see Kyle Trask and or John Walford for the Bucs, like a lot of them, right, after Baker Mayfield. It could also be, like I said, Baker Mayfield comes out there, they score on the first drive, and then they're done. It could very much be the case. We haven't seen any of these teams go over the total in 4 games. Total scores of 31-27 for Tampa, 33-19 for Miami. And when you look on the Dolphins side, Skylar Thompson and Mike White, they have not been good. They've played very poorly, as a matter of fact. So while it's not my favorite play, considering the backups for both of these teams are pretty equal, Baker Mayfield probably does play until they get a score. So I would lean Tampa I like the other 2 plays better. I would lean Tampa -3 and also under 37.5 for this game. So give me 49ers minus a half point in the first quarter on DraftKings. And if you wanted to sprinkle on that to win the first quarter with a shutout, I don't hate that either. Give me this Indianapolis or Jacksonville team -7. I don't hate that at all. And of course, I'd lean Bucs -3 and under 37.5. Good luck today, or sorry, tomorrow, whenever you're watching this. Catch us back here tomorrow, right here for Saturday's 8-game slate. And don't forget, hit that thumbs up, subscribe before you go. We'll catch you back here for the next one. Peace.